Everybody, welcome. Commit alert film review. It's me. It's Adam. We are here. DJ Clue. That's right. X's and Knowles presented by Knowles 24/7, and we are here to walk with John Papuchis. We are here to talk about defensive end edge recruiting. We're talking about Florida State's recent commit that they just got from the 2024 high school class. That is 4-star. Top 200 prospect, Amaree Williams. This is a very interesting prospect. Adam's going to pull up his bio. This is a kid that actually reclassified, easy for me to say, from the 2025 class to 2024. 6'4", 215. He's an athlete. He's got great genes. Dad was a longtime NFL player, and he is very effective at offense as well. This is an intriguing prospect. This is the type of prospect that Florida State hasn't really got their hands on at this position in a while. Adam, what do you make of this before we go through the bio and go through the film and do all the stuff that we are wont to do on this program?
I think intriguing is a appropriate term for describing him. Like you see the talent on film. And we'll look at the film when we're done kind of just discussing it here. The talent's clearly there. There's pedigree, obviously, with his dad, Mo Williams, being a star in the NFL. So he's got the bloodline, he's got the frame, he's got the athleticism. Seems to have the mindset and the work ethic just based on, being able to reclassify and what he puts on tape. The big question mark is he's a year ahead of everybody else now, so he's going to be coming in at 16, 17, as opposed to guys are going to be 18, 19 entering their freshman year. So that plays a role in how you kind of have to think about all of this. So I'm curious what it looks like in the beginning. I heard Zach mention today on the Bench podcast. Be sure to check that one out, that he was maybe going to play a little bit of offense to start. That's intriguing to me because on film, he looks like a better offensive player right now, but over time you can kind of project where defense is going to be his strong suit.
Absolutely. So check out that On the Bench podcast. Brendan Sonnone wrote a nice scouting article on Amaree that you guys can read, as well as a companion piece to this. Adam, you're a big guy. You like big guys. Do you get terrified when you see the measurable 6'4", 215 on your defensive end recruit come in? And I saw a lot of trepidation around that. Or is it really about the frame? Is it really about the quickness? Like, does that scare you off, those measurables at this age? Or is that something that should maybe be largely ignored because this kid has a lot of transforming to do once Coach Storms gets his hands on him?
I think that you got to look at like the body type.
Okay. And what do you mean? Because people talk about frame, body type. I know a lot of our listeners knows what that means, but explain that a little bit further detail.
Width of his shoulder, size of his hands, those kinds of things. Like, they're going to project what type of body he's going to grow into. If you've ever had a dog, if you've ever had like a bigger size dog, people would always say like, oh, they've got big paws, that's going to be a big dog. Like, maybe that's just a Delaware thing. I don't know, but
it's universal. It's not just your people. Yeah.
He's got wide shoulders, which makes you think that he's going to be able to put some weight onto his frame. He's got width to add bulk to. If he was real narrow, there would be nowhere for that weight to go to. But he's got some width to him, so there's going to be size to go there. He's got long arms. That means obviously he's got a ton of length to work with, which is going to also be able to put mass on. But yeah, I mean, I think that's the biggest thing. Like, he's wide, which makes you believe that he can put on the necessary mass to get up to like a 240. He doesn't need to be a 250, 260, 270 type of defensive end. You get him up to 240 and let him use his explosiveness and his length, and then it's becoming a little bit of the old school kind of defensive end, because you don't see as many of those guys in the NFL right now. Now you're seeing a lot of these 6'3", 270 guys, but this is a bit old school, like a Brian Burns kind of defensive end. A lot of length, explosive athlete that you want to put some weight on. The 215, you can't not going to have a lot of success at 215, but you want to get up to 235, 240, 245 in that range. And I think that will be a successful weight for him to play at.
Right. Get that functional weight that accentuates the stuff that he's good at. As you can see from the bio that we're looking at, played on both sides of the ball, offense, defense, also a multi-sport athlete. Looked like he had a pretty impressive track
stuff there. Yeah.
Which that's interesting in your edge. I think this is an interesting, I don't want to say a gamble, but I think it's a fun developmental take to mix in with a lot of really polished dudes that you've been getting at this position from the portal. I think it's a good, I think it's a good risk to take. I really like all the intangibles and stuff to build on. Have you seen his film before, Adam?
I've watched some of it, yes.
Okay, so let's turn the film on, but just before that starts playing, what about his game really just pops out at you right at the beginning?
I just think it's explosive. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing. And you get some of that by looking at some of those track numbers. If folks did see that, you see some of the track stuff, you get an idea of what an explosive athlete is. And that's important, right? I mean, that's what you want in a football player. So we're going to take a look at it here. He's getting a little 30-yard catch.
Yeah.
He's getting a pick six here at defensive end. You see him dropping into coverage. Yeah, that plays right.
Yeah. What do we think of the level
well,
of competition
I was
here?
literally just getting ready to say. I mean, I think there's some question marks
about
there's some question marks about the competition level there, but I don't know. I don't know enough about Florida ball to say, oh, this is big time football or not. I mean, look at the guys around them. They look a lot smaller than who they're playing against.
Man, he looks very comfortable in space.
Right. I mean, I think when you're evaluating a guy like this, you turn off what he's playing against and you look at the movement skills. Let's go back to that last play there. Here, I mean, just watch him dropping in space, how fluid he is. Changing direction. He puts his foot in the ground and takes off and is explosive after he gets that foot in the dirt.
Wins a foot race at 6'4", 215. Yeah,
just got it again. Here, boom, max speed right away. That's impressive. That's an athlete.
Well, because it's not. I mean, which is why people are saying he may look better on offense and defense right now. And it's long speed, but that burst, that athleticism as a defensive end, as an edge, that's going to be strength to power right there. That kid is out of the frame and on the ground.
Yeah, I mean, and that guy's pretty tiny, but
yeah, exactly.
Again, I mean, he plays with an attitude. Well, the things you got to question is he a bully against a small guy? Will he do that against a bigger guy? I mean, you think of Johnny Wilson, how he blocked out on the edges. Is he going to go in and do that? Oh, is he going to go in and do that, or is he going to be a bully against smaller guys and then maybe not shine against bigger athletes? There's a sack. Yeah. So this was one of his first plays as a pass rusher. Again, he's got a good first step off the line. Nice little hand swat there. But the guy that's blocking him is
right. And he's so far more talented athletically. You didn't really have to worry about leverage or anything. He just zoomed right past the kid. So like I said, maybe
run past this dude on a receiver. Look, here's the biggest thing. This is an athlete project.
Yeah.
That you are excited to come in and develop. And they haven't had a ton of this. They haven't been in position to do a lot with a guy like this because they've been constantly fighting from behind. Now you can get a big time athlete in and say, okay, well, let's see what you can turn into.
And dude, this is a big time. He's just fast, dude. Yeah. If we can get him with the technician that is Mr. Walk with JP, get him to teach him some moves, get with Odell to teach some leverage. Dude, these are some fun tools to work with. He teleports to spaces on the field. He's
does
very
a nice job staying square here in the run fit. Yeah, I'm with you. I think he's just explosive, and there's room for guys like that in your program.
What's the hardest part about a transition for a guy like this to the next level, especially since he's a year ahead?
I mean, it's just got to be the physicality, right? I mean, he's going to come in and be playing against grown-ass men. he's going to be what 5 years younger than 6 years younger than some guys he's playing against. I mean, that's a big age difference.
Are you worried more about just with that was a nice play. Are you worried more about the de-recruiting process and taking on athletic prospects in the age where transfers are so prevalent, where like before you would have the leeway to like not necessarily break a guy down, but deconstruct them and build them back up over a multi-year process? Do you feel that that's more of a risky proposition when people can leave at any time?
I mean, I think you got to be concerned about everybody on your roster every second of the day, right?
See, and I wanted devil's advocate a little bit, but you, like you said, anybody is fair game at any time. You take the
give
best
one
talent.
guy a wrong look, and mom and dad don't like it, and then the next thing you know, they're in the transfer portal. I mean, you're just constantly having to de-recruit and recruit your guy, these guys at the same time.
I agree.
I don't envy any college coach.
I agree. I agree with you, man. I wanted, because I know it's something that people have been talking about, and nobody's immune to it. New kid, veteran, like you just got to coach them the way you want to coach them, and hope you have a good enough culture and NIL program to kind of hold on. And Florida State has been good in that regard, in my opinion.
I wish there was data out there that was readily available that kind of discussed the number of guys that reclass and go on and have success. I can't imagine the numbers that high.
Look at that!
Down from the backside. I can't imagine that number's super high. Guys that go in and have a ton of success early. It seems like there's some thought that he wants to play early, and that's asking a lot. It's asking a whole lot.
Well, that's the mindset I think you're going to find coming in. But as long as he's more realistic in the development. God, this stuff is there,
picks that
dude.
Off.
Oh, I like the captions too.
Blur. He moves well for a big kid.
The movement skills and the speed, the burst is what really catches me. Because like you said, the acceleration is he's up to top speed extremely quick. Yeah, like that, man.
Yeah, that plays. Now, if he's going against a bigger dude, he's getting trucked. I mean,
too high.
His chest is getting eaten. But it feels like to me, this is a dude that hasn't played a lot of defensive football.
I don't think so either. To me, I think the thing that's going to be the biggest culture shock is leverage.
Yeah,
it's just right now he's relying a lot on his speed and athleticism to go by dudes.
Yep.
Like we're gonna have to lower everything and start to deliver with a little bit more force. Even the way he's so fast.
He almost got run by there, but
it's a fun highlight tape to watch, man.
It is. I mean, he looks different out there too. Almost again. So getting his hand on the ball, which we like.
Oh, that's very Pat Payton vibes, dude. Yeah. That play. I know he's maybe going to want to take a shot at both, but I think defense is where this. I like the defense.
Yeah, you see the defensive tools.
It projects a little bit of it better to me on the next level.
Well, he's never going to run well enough to play wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't show me that he's a guy that's going to be able to even though he does it pretty well there. I mean,
that was a good route, right?
Robert Gibson run routes. I don't know. I'm curious to see how it plays out. And look, you've got a guy coming in that's a special athlete that's a year younger than everybody else in the class.
Look at that. That is ridiculous.
I think this is one that's going to be interesting to watch. He'll be here in the summertime. Yeah, I mean, he makes some plays that make you go,
Yeah, dude, it's just different. Yeah. Knock it up against the guys that he's going to get knocked up against every day in practice, getting coached by the guys that he's going to coach. They're going to get something out of this kid, I think. It ain't going to be in year one.
Here he is on pass rush. Does a nice rip inside and swims off the other dude. Effort's great.
Yeah, he doesn't for a kid that's like much the best athlete on the field easily. He's not really dogging it, you know. He gives a lot of good effort.
The rush. Here we go. Keep coming.
Let's see what we got here. Yeah, we know it's him. We don't even need the circle.
There's a nice hand fight.
Yeah.
So he does a nice job swiping the hands here. And then nice finish.
The good hands, nice finish. The dip coming around the corner. I don't really see. Do you see that? Like the
No.
leverage? I don't see
No, I
that.
wouldn't say I see a ton of bend there. Like
I don't at all. But that I think
next level pass rushers, they bend there and they're at full speed the entire time. But again, I don't think he's played. He doesn't strike me as a kid that's played a ton of like pass rushing defensive end.
no. And to me, Adam, I agree with you. The thing is, it's not that he doesn't have the capacity to do those things because of everything else you've seen in that highlight tape yet. He hasn't done it long enough yet.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
There's some tape that we watch of kids that are fast, that are speedy, that are impressive, that we don't expect them to have that fluidity in the hips, that bend. We just think they're stiff. We call them stiff. We don't think it's something that's ever going to come. I don't see that with him. He just moves too well across the football field to where I think that's something that can be developed. Do you agree with that? Is bend something that's more coachable than is previously thought? What's your opinion on that trait of a defensive end?
I mean, I think you can teach it to a degree. I mean, there's some point you either have that or don't.
Okay.
But I think, yeah, I mean, I think they'll get him on the hoops and work some bend into his game. I think that there's more in there for him to be able to kind of uncork that they'll get out of him. They just need to get that work. They need to get him in there and get him developed. He kind of reminds me of Nolan Smith. If I'm like comping somebody with him, Nolan Smith listed at 6'2", 238. He obviously went to Georgia, was an explosive pass rusher at Georgia. I don't think he's as explosive as Nolan Smith. The interesting thing is, and I was thinking it as I was watching him, he kind of strikes me as a linebacker. Like I could really see him as like a will linebacker.
You think he moves that well in space?
I just think his body type maybe it looks like his frame maybe portends to being a linebacker type a little bit more than a DN, which I didn't think I was going to say that, but as I was watching him more, I'm watching him move, watching him drop into coverage. Like, yeah, he kind of does look like a dude that I could see playing a little bit of stack linebacker. I don't. That's not going to happen at Florida State. Like he's going to play, but Nolan Smith got with the Eagles and they put him inside linebacker this year, which was interesting. So that's why I was thinking it. But
he looked
like he's going to be a DN for Florida State. That's his long term home. But it intrigues me. He intrigues me as an athlete moving around.
I like it. I didn't know what to expect coming in. And I think the evaluations are right on the money. Like this is a 4-star prospect. And if it's a kid who didn't reclassify, I think I don't know, top 100-ish type kid. And I think he's a
I would be
top
curious to
200
see
kid.
him play a senior season.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. So based on all that stuff, as far as like an impact timeline, what do you have?
It's tough to say. I mean, there's conversation like I said. Zach mentioned potentially playing some offense this year. They've got need for athletes at tight end. As far as DN though, like I just don't see him playing a whole lot until like end of 25, early 26. I think Chris kind of gave a similar timeline. Like he's going to need a full year of getting mass and bulk on his body, like getting his frame right. And then after that, like he looks really, really raw as a defensive end. So, I mean, it's tough to say in 1 year he's going to get that development.
He just needs reps too, man, because he hasn't been doing it long enough. But that's the type of kid that maybe near the middle tail end of 25, and who knows? The kid's genes are impeccable, so it could
exactly
the development could be way faster than we think. But that's the type of kid that like comes in an obvious pass rush scenario in the back end of 25. And you're like, holy crap, I remember that kid. Like this is if we can put it all together, there's potential for a lot of jaw-dropping plays. I think this is a great take.
I
I
agree.
love the tools to work with, man. Like that was impressive. I'm impressed with that kid's athleticism.
Yeah, look, it wouldn't shock me if he shows up and plays tight end for 4 or 5 years or whatever, and is really good at doing that. Like, I just think he's a really good athlete. You're going to find where he fits in your program, and then you're going to let him go excel.
And I'm with you too, man, because the coaching and development that he has, that's never been an issue here at Florida State and Mike Norvell's tenure. The issue has been getting more athletes like this kid.
Yep.
Mission accomplished. You got one in Amaree Williams. I think it's a great take. I cannot wait to see how this kid develops. This is going to be an intriguing one to watch as his career progresses as a Florida State Seminole. Adam, anything else you want to add before we wrap this up?
No, I don't think so. It's an exciting get. I can't wait to see what he turns into in his time here. I'm kind of anxious to see if he does get some burn at tight end this year. I wish he was going to be here in the spring, but he's not. He'll be here in the summertime. I'm intrigued.
Yep. We're anxious to see what he turns into, and we're anxious to turn you into a Noles247.com subscriber. If you are not already, promos abound. It is the best time, the calm before the storm of all the information. Join Noles247.com. If you are not, become a subscriber. Get on the board. We'll talk to you. Say what's up. Subscribe to the YouTube channels, Noles247.com YouTube. It is fuego. X's and Knowles YouTube channel. Subscribe, notifications on. The OG, where all the content be dropping all the time, baby. Just get it on everything, okay? You know what I'm saying. We love you. We've got some more exciting ideas around the corner as far as video content, but guess what? Spring, she is a coming. And that means pre-spring position previews, baby. And this year is going to be awesome because there's an influx of a lot of new and interesting talent into the Florida State roster. We're going to talk about it all with you guys. I'm only going to ask you to do one more thing for me, beautiful and lovely audience. Keep chopping.